I've just been reading the report about the Guardian newspaper apology to Dan Wotton, and I think uh, last year there was a Supreme Court's clear ruling in ZXC versus Bloomberg that suspects shouldn't be named until charged. Byline Times breached Dan Wotton's privacy by revealing his identity. Only a few mainstream media outlets did the same. The Guardian was one that did so. Now, Dan Wotton's lawyers have contacted the Guardian, and though the story was taken offline the next morning, it was too late for print. And Guido Fawkes has talked about this, and since that time, Dan Wotton has been investigated. The police are not going to press any charges, and the Guardian has issued what is described as a grovelling apology to Wotton, along with coughing up an undisclosed sum to him. The next question is whether or not the Byline Times will be put in the same sort of position. The Byline Times certainly doesn't have very much money. And if they choose to double down, says Guido Fawkes, it will spell the end of that outlet. That would be particularly sad, I think. The article, which was published on the 2nd of October 2023, police investigating allegations Dan Wotton solicited explicit images, and then there was another article published on the 3rd of October 2023, and I think this is about the Guardian. But the Byline Times was, I think, slightly earlier than that. I'm not sure. I mean, I think I think certainly following that court ruling, I have certainly mentioned Dan Wotton's name, so I would definitely apologise to Dan Wotton for compromising his privacy by repeating things that I had read elsewhere or heard elsewhere on YouTube channels, and I think people are entitled to their privacy. I think it is important, however, that there's a debate that goes on. And I think it's important that that if one is wrong, one stands up and says so. I'm certainly not somebody who would cling on to a story simply because it was there. I'm very happy to let things go. And I've said on many an occasion that Dan Wotton is a very accomplished performer and an accomplished presenter, one of the more accomplished presenters on GB News, and I shouldn't like that to get in the way of anything else. So, yeah, I would definitely like to apologise for mentioning his name in connection to the stories that were buzzing around, and I would like to make that very clear. I think I did a video a short while ago, and I think Dan Wotton has set the standard there by putting forward an apology for whatever was said about Johnny Depp, and I think a line can be drawn. I think it's important to move on, and I wish him well.